Hey guys, JamesMCD's here. Welcome to another TVlog, which could also probably be considered a bucket list, but anyway, welcome to another TVlog. Today we're going to be talking about Avatar: The Last Airbender, the hit Nickelodeon animated series created by Michael Dante DiMartino and Brian Konietzko. Avatar was definitely something that I was aware of growing up, but I just didn't watch it because I was a stupid kid and had no taste. But with the new live-action Netflix series that's coming up, I figure what better time than any to catch up on what I've been missing, because everyone who has seen it hails it as a masterpiece, and I believe them. I just have not found the time up until this point to catch up on it. So rather than doing a straightforward TV log where I watch it all the way through and talk about everything all at once, because it's 3 seasons and each season is like 20 episodes long, I'm gonna do it kind of Barbie style, where I film my immediate reaction to each season as it happens, with a little intro and outro bit at the end, just so, because there's so much information and so much depth to comprehend that I figured it'd just be easier doing it season by season as opposed to trying to remember that all in one video. So hope you guys enjoy. There will be a lot of jump cuts and continuity changes and outfit changes. But anyway, let's get started with book 1.
Water.
So I just finished book 1 and it was really solid. I mean, it's definitely what you'd expect. It's an introductory season, so it gets you set up in the world and the story, and it introduces you to all the characters and sort of the way that this universe works. The main story is these 2 kids from the Southern Water Tribe stumble across a little 12-year-old boy who is frozen in a block of ice. When they get him out, it's revealed that he is actually the Avatar named Aang, and he's this one that's basically prophesied to master all of the elements of earth, fire, wind, water, and save everyone from the Fire Nation. And so Aang basically has to travel with these 2 to the different elemental tribes to master the elements and get the knowledge that he needs before this comet is about to come and basically bring more power to the Fire Nation so that they can destroy everything, basically. It was a very solid first season. First and foremost, I really like the animation. Growing up, I never really got into that sort of American anime sort of style that's shows like Teen Titans, the 2003 one, sort of made popular. But now as I've gotten older, and especially as I've been introduced to more anime, I appreciate that style a lot more. And they work with it really well. This show was created back in, I think, 2005, 2006, and Jesus Christ, does it still hold up. It's really beautiful looking. The world that it's set in is just so vast and intricate. All the different things from the little creatures and everything to just things in the background. You know, the way they do stuff with the different environments and everything, it looks really, really cool. The action scenes are great. They're really energetic and they look amazing. But the rest of the animation, the character movements, everything, it keeps that style without getting too over the top or overly exaggerated, if that makes sense. And I think it works really well. The story for this season was definitely interesting. They are setting up a lot of threads going forward. I will say that the one sort of downside is there is a bit of filler, and I'm not gonna knock shows that have filler, because I mean you sort of need that downtime to build the characters and establish more of the world and everything like that. I mean, Gravity Falls' first season was practically all filler, and I still love that show, but this one, there was a lot, especially when they introduced the element of a ticking clock and some big massive event that's gonna happen. That's the point where it's kind of okay, do we really need to have all these sort of side quests? Shouldn't we prioritize getting to the North Pole so that Aang can master waterbending and everything like that? Not all the filler episodes were bad, and I will give it this over something like Steven Universe. There's not nearly as much of it, and what little there is of it, they actually do make the most of it. It's all dedicated to building the characters or having them learn a lesson, or, you know, expanding more on the world and the lore and everything. Speaking on the characters, I do really like them. I find them really, like, compelling and really interesting and engaging. Our main trio of heroes, they have great chemistry off each other. The voice acting is great. One thing that kind of took me by surprise, especially for like it was meant to be an introductory season, is that they're introducing like the ideas of giving the villains more depth like early on. Like even the ones that are supposed to be sort of like the two-dimensional bad guys, like they introduce the ideas of like, oh, they have these sort of like inner like demons or like internal issues that like they might not have resolved that are ultimately going to be their downfall. Or in the case of Zuko, everything like that, they establish more like very early on him and Aang's sort of connection through their rivalry and everything like that. Voice acting across the board was great. Music across the board was great. I like that it, for the most part, takes itself serious, but it's not afraid to be like really funny. Like there were some really funny moments in this show. And yeah, a couple of like stumbles along the way, but overall I just thoroughly enjoyed this first season, and I'm very excited to see what comes next in season 2 and 3. So ranking this season, season 1, I would have to give a 4 out of 5.
Earth.
Alright, so I know there's no war in Ba Sing Se, but do you think there's a therapy there? Because these characters could really use some. I just finished book 2, Earth, and I liked it better than book 1. I'm gonna be honest. It really amped everything up. It amped the drama up. It amped the story, the character development, everything like is just amped up to 11. It picks up pretty much where the first book left off. Aang is on the hunt for an earthbending teacher so that he can master all 4 elements, and he finds that in this blind girl named Toph, who I really like. It's basically the way that they use her like earthbending abilities is kind of like Daredevil, in that she can like feel even though she's blind, she can feel sort of the vibration of the earth, and like it helps her know where things are, and it helps her move things around and everything. I really like that. Like she's trying to get out of the situation that she's in with her family, and she joins up with the group, and I love the dynamic that forms between them. And then a little further on, they need to go to the Earth Kingdom of Ba Sing Se to alert the king of this plan that they've come up with to cut off the Fire Nation's power on the day of a solar eclipse. Meanwhile, the Fire Lord has sent his daughter Azula basically to go after Zuko and Iroh, and he's basically sent them even more on the run than they already were. They're fugitives. They have to lay low, and you know, they are also trying to get to Ba Sing Se to start a new life. And this, I guess, sort of exile kind of sends Zuko into like a spiral of like reflection of like maybe like trying to restore honor and capture the Avatar and all these things that I'm obsessing over like isn't really what I want to do, and he basically has to make that choice of like, do I want to continue down the path that I am already on and rule with my sister and restore honor and get back in my father's good graces, or do I want to actually like turn over a new leaf and be sort of happy? I really like the direction that this season goes. It doesn't waste nearly as much time as season 1 does. Not to say that season 1 was a complete waste, because there were some good episodes in there, but like this one you can feel sort of there's a lot more urgency. And now with this new thread introduced of Azula and the 2 girls traveling with her and everything like that, like it adds that extra layer of like, now there's another like even more powerful threat to deal with, on top of Zuko, on top of the oncoming comet, on top of the Fire Lord, everything like that. I kind of implied it with the intro, but the season does get a lot darker. Like the characters get put through the ringer in this season, which I do kind of like. I like that it sort of amps up the stakes. The characters in general, I think this season have gotten a lot better. I didn't really talk too much about like my favorite characters in the previous segment, but I really like Katara. I like sort of it feels weird to say like motherly instinct that she has, because like they're building her and Aang up to be together by the end, but like it does sort of feel that like she is like almost like the caretaker of the group in a way, but she is, you know, badass in her own way, and when it comes time to fight and for there to be action, like she is just awesome. Zuko, between the first season and the second season, has been like one of the most compelling characters in this entire show. I really like that. I mean, I really liked in the first season they didn't waste a lot of time giving him more depth than just being like, oh, I am evil villain and I want to restore my honor and everything like that. They really do show you the steps that were taken to put him in the place that he is right now, and they get you to understand and sympathize with him and why he wants to capture the Avatar and everything like that. I love the introduction of Azula. I think she's great. I mean, the fact that she's voiced by another famous Nickelodeon villain, Vicky from Fairly Odd Parents, just adds so much. But she is really like intense and intimidating. She poses a great threat to our heroes. And yeah, she's just really awesome. Her lackeys as well are really fun. And like I said, the introduction of Toph into this group is really great. I like how kind of bratty and snarky she is at first, but then when it comes time to fight, she can be really badass and strong in her own way. I also really like a lot of Uncle Iroh's scenes between the first and second season. The Tales of Ba Sing Se episode, where it's showing sort of the individual stories of all the characters. Out of all of those, his was probably my favorite, and it was definitely the most emotionally resonant. And I mean, the fact that they dedicated it to his voice actor who passed away halfway through the second season, it just adds that extra little emotional punch in the gut. But yeah, really great season. The action and animation were just as great as always. Some really nice morals, some really great episodes. I like that it doesn't necessarily end on a happy note. Like, it really emphasizes the holy shit, what's gonna happen next aspect of it. And yeah, I'm excited to see how it's all wrapped up in book 3. So ranking season 2, I would have to say it's a 4.5 out of 5.
Fire.
Alright, so I just finished book 3, Fire, and I'd like to send a message to my 5-year-old self. Fuck you for not getting into this show sooner, because you would have loved it, and that was fucking amazing. I'd almost kind of separate it into 2 parts, and not in that, like, they separate it themselves, but, like, it feels like there's before the invasion and after the invasion. Before is, it picks up right from where book 2 left off. Everything's gone to shit. The Fire Nation have taken over the Earth Kingdom of Ba Sing Se. Everyone is under the impression that the Avatar is dead, and Zuko is finally like able to go home to the Fire Nation Kingdom and be with his father. And so the group, along with Sokka and Katara's dad, make this plan to invade the Fire Nation on the day of an eclipse. And basically they're just, a majority of the season shows them just hanging out undercover in the Fire Nation, just waiting for the day of the eclipse and like training. And there's a lot of, you know, little like character moments and like, no, I don't want to say slice of life because that makes them sound like filler episodes, but there are a lot of you know, moments where it's just the characters like learning things and everything like that. And then when we get to the day of the invasion, in most shows, like, you would expect that to be like the series finale. And I will admit that like watching it on like DVD or Netflix or something, it would kind of ruin that surprise for you. You're like, well, we're at the invasion, but there's still like 5 or 6 more episodes left, so something's gotta happen, and Jesus Christ, do things happen. Like you'd expect in a episode like this that's meant to be super big and built up to after all this time, that not everything is gonna go according to plan, but like here it's like, it's kind of like almost the Empire Strikes Back of the Avatar series. Like, everything that could possibly go wrong goes wrong, with just like a slight glimmer of hope at the end, with Zuko finally realizing that he wants to help Aang and the gang destroy the Fire Lord, and he wants to teach him firebending and everything like that. But no, the first half of the season was really great. There were a lot of great episodes, some good character moments. I think probably my favorite was the episode with Katara and the witch, where she learns bloodbending, just because it was such a creepy episode, and like I imagine that's been like argued a lot as like, well, why can't you just control the human body? And then you see in this episode like, oh shit, that's why. Because it's really creepy and unnatural. The second half of the season takes place after the invasion. All the adults have been captured, while all the youngest members of the group basically retreat to one of the abandoned air temples. And like I said, Zuko goes to join them and tries to regain their trust and convince them that he's good now and he wants to help teach Aang firebending. And I do like that the show gets kind of self-aware of like every single episode shows the characters individually going on some sort of solo mission with Zuko that it changes their perspective on him, or like helps them come to some realization in some way. And I like that they play into that a little bit towards the end. It's like everyone with when Toph is like, everyone else has had a life-changing solo journey with Zuko. Why can I have one? But no, there were some really great things in those final few episodes. I really liked the episode with Zuko and Katara when she goes to get revenge on the guy that killed her mom. And I've just really liked seeing Zuko's progression throughout the show. Like, even when he does that backstep at the end of the second season, like, from going from maybe not to full-on villain again, it's like, it's so disappointing, but it makes it all the more satisfying when he finally does join up with the group and helps them save the day and everything like that. I also liked Aang's like inner turmoil throughout these last few episodes, of course leading up to the 4-part finale, where he's struggling with like, is he going to be able to kill the Fire Lord, or will he be able to, you know, find a more peaceful route and everything like that? And those final 4 episodes, by the way, were fucking phenomenal. I watched the series on Netflix, by the way. I don't know if I brought that up yet, but they had all 4 episodes stitched together as one, like, hour-and-a-half long movie. And I think that's probably the most ideal way to watch it, because they all flow so perfectly into each other. Every character gets a moment to shine. Nothing is left on the cutting room floor. That's probably the best, one of the best aspects of this season, is they really treated it like a finale. Like, all of the past characters, like even the little like side characters that were maybe in like one episode, come back and they get their own sort of moments of development, or moments to shine, or be a part of this grand plan and everything like that. And these final 4 episodes, the Sozin's Comet 4-parter, are no exception. The action is like the coolest it's ever looked. The animation is absolutely stellar. Like I said, every character gets a moment to shine, and the conclusion that it reaches is really satisfying. The one thing that is kind of left up in the air is there's a scene with Zuko and the Fire Lord towards the end where he's like, "What did you do to my mother?" And apparently that gets resolved in a graphic novel or something, but I can't speak on that because I haven't read it. But yeah, this season was absolutely amazing. It was everything that I hoped it would be and everything that I wanted it to be. It was an epic way to finish off this season. It was emotional. It was action-packed. It was just perfect, and I don't think I could give it anything less than a 5 out of 5. Alright, and there we go. Those are all 3 seasons of Avatar: The Last Airbender. I'm really glad that I finally sat down and watched it. I'm very glad that I invested time into watching it. It is kind of annoying that it took a live-action reboot series to finally get me to sit down and watch it, but I don't know when else I would have gotten around to it if I wasn't making a video for it, but I am really glad that I did. The way it executes its story, the way that it develops its characters, like the action, the philosophy, everything about the show just works. Like, even some of like the lesser episodes, which there really are only maybe like 2 or 3 that I wasn't like super crazy about. Like, the worst thing that I could probably say about them is that, like, it's just either some things are out of character or it's just kind of like a filler episode that provides nothing. But like, those are the worst like complaints that I could have about any of the episodes in this show. Everything else about it is just that good. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. I'm sure if you're watching this, you've already seen the show, but like, if you haven't for some reason, if you're like me and you haven't discovered it until just now, do yourself a favor and watch it, because you will be seeing probably the best 3 seasons of television that you will have seen in a while. And that about does it. Let me know in the comments what you thought of Avatar: The Last Airbender. Did you watch it as it was airing? Did you grow up with it? And how does it hold up now? Or if you haven't seen it before and you're just starting to watch it, what do you think of it? And I know I shouldn't be doing this to myself, and I know a lot of Avatar fans are gonna be like pointing the finger and thinking this is sacrilegious of me, but I'm a completionist and a bit of a masochist. So next week I'm going to be doing a bottom of the bucket list episode on the 2010 M. Night Shyamalan disaster piece, The Last Airbender. So if you're interested in seeing me rip that movie apart, be sure to tune in then. Other than that, be sure to like, subscribe, ring the notification bell so you can stay up to date on when I'm posting. Follow me on all my social media, subscribe to my main channel. Everything you need to know will be in the description. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you later.